toilet tank, which is how I ended up tossing my favorite gemstone stud into the commode. I really need to get myself a jewelry box or something, I think, adding yet another item to my ever-growing to-do list. Of course, it isn't just my jewelry collection that's in disarray. My stuff is spewed all over Dad's brownstone right now. And between his furniture addiction and my clothing addiction, I feel like I'm living in an episode of Hoarders. I just haven't had the time or the willpower to start going through any of it. I haven't gotten much of anything done lately. My whole life feels like I'm just focused on keeping my head above water. I haven't even gone through Dad's paperwork yet. The huge envelope the lawyer gave me is still on the desk in his office, gathering dust. I finally find the matching gold and pearl earring and slip it into my earlobe. I stand back and scrutinize the effect. Well, no one will ever accuse me of being a bombshell, but I think I look pretty darn okay. I wish I knew what to expect from this event, though. All Rich had been able to tell me was that it was an anniversary party for Design Times, a design magazine that we're always trying to get more coverage in. They had this party every year to commemorate the day of their launch. It was one Dad had faithfully attended every year, and one that he'd apparently cursed about every time it came up on the calendar, which didn't leave me very optimistic about how much fun I was in for this evening. I add a slick of lipstick, a shimmery coppery red, and call it done. I make my way back to the bedroom and scramble to find the little vintage clutch I'd planned on taking with me, looking at the time on the bedside clock and cursing again as I rummage around the room. I'm staying in Dad's guest room, even though it's half the size of the master. I can't quite bring myself to sleep in his bedroom, because to me, it's still his. So instead, I keep that door closed and try not to think too much about it. I finally find the clutch under a pile of discarded dresses, and then realize I have no idea where I left my phone. Damn it! My footsteps echo through the brownstone as I hunt, throwing stuff from one pile to another and trying to keep one eye on the time. I end up finding the phone in the office, on the desk next to Dad's reading glasses. I had poured myself a glass of wine earlier with the full intention of finally going through the package from Dad's lawyer. But I'd spotted the glasses and they'd sent me into another crying jag. I snatch my phone up off the desk, ignoring the black-framed reading glasses, and throw it into the clutch. At which point, I realize I've somehow managed to misplace my lipstick in the last 5 minutes. Gah! I start retracing my steps, knowing full well that every minute I spend looking for this stupid lipstick is making me more and more late for this stupid party. I stop mid-search and catch my breath. I can live without the lipstick. No more procrastinating. Time to go. I grab my phone and hit the number that's now programmed into my contacts. It rings just once before his deep voice answers.
Yes, ma'am?
Hi, Clifford, I say awkwardly. It's Bree? I can almost hear the chuckle in his voice.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, I say, blushing. I guess you have call display.
Yes, but you're also the only one who has this number.
Right, I say again, dumbly. I still haven't gotten used to this whole having a driver thing. Clifford had worked for Dad, and he'd offered to stay on with me for as long as I wanted. I had decided to keep him for at least a while. I felt super uncomfortable having my own driver, but with everything else going on, the last thing I wanted to do was leave poor Clifford without a job. Not after he'd worked for Dad so loyally for so many years.
Are you ready, ma'am?
Clifford prods gently. I shake my head, trying to clear it. Yes, sorry. Could you meet me around front?
Of course.
2 minutes later, I'm climbing into the back seat of the ivory-colored Lincoln town car. Clifford gently closes the door behind me before getting into the driver's seat.